Hi, I'm Amy, and welcome to my channel. This channel is all about merging spirituality and psychology so that you can manifest your relationships. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the self-concept that I had to cultivate in order to manifest my person back. But before I do, if you like this channel, please subscribe and leave a like or a comment if you feel called to, so that other people have access to it so they can apply it to their own lives. So let's dive in. So self-concept obviously is a term that was coined by Neville Goddard. So self-concept is a term which he used to describe the filter that you see life through. And, you know, he also says the whole vast world is yourself pushed out. So what we're actually seeing when we see the world, we're just seeing it through a specific lens of our feelings, our thoughts, our beliefs, our triggers, our trauma, our ego. All of that is your self-concept. So it's not just about the thoughts that you're thinking, it's not just about the beliefs, it's not just about the feelings, it's as a whole. And I noticed quite late on in my manifesting journey that I thought that I was cultivating the right state, but I wasn't. I was just mindlessly trying to feed my subconscious mind with stuff that A, I didn't believe, B, I wasn't really doing anything to actually change how I was showing up in the world. And if you followed my channel for a while, you'll know my story. But basically, a couple of years ago, our final breakup, I really had to sit and think about, okay, who am I showing up as and who do I need to show up as so that I can invite this thing into my reality? And when I sat and I thought about my relationship, I sat and really did consider, okay, say if I've had this relationship for a year, who would I be? How would I feel? What would the self-concept of this person be? What do I need to believe in order to invite this person back in? And for me, and this is only my perspective, you can do this yourself, you can sit with it yourself, but imagine yourself in this relationship down the line, not imagining what you'll be like if this person comes back in or if a new relationship comes back in. Imagine where you will be in a year, 2 years, 5 years time. Okay, and for me, that self-concept was security and confidence. So what I set about doing was actually cultivating that state within me. And how I did this was that I really had to think about, okay, what does security mean for me? What does confidence mean for me? And how can I cultivate that right now? What can I use in my reality right now to cultivate those feelings? And how would I show up differently? I really had to consider how I would show up differently as a person that was confident and secure. And that meant stop checking my phone, because a secure and confident person wouldn't do that. It also meant that I had to really think about behaviors and patterns that had shown up in this relationship. And we had a lot of toxic patterns. I had to think about, okay, now as the secure, confident version of me, how would I act differently this time? How would I approach that situation differently? As the secure person, how would I show up in the relationship? Would I show up as the needy, clingy, desperate Amy? Or would I show up as somebody who was calm, self-assured, willing to work things out? So going through that process, I did start to embody that version of me. And I know on the face of it, sometimes it sounds really, really hard to do, but this really changed things for me. So I had to really dive into what I thought a secure person would be like. And you can use anybody to develop this. You can use a celebrity, for example, and really think about, okay, how does that person carry themselves? How does that person walk down the street? How does that person handle themselves in conflict? How does that person show up day to day to day? And I made a list. So I would think about how I was showing up as not that, so I could stop doing it and break those patterns. And it wasn't before long, and I really had to dedicate myself to this. It wasn't before long that I started to feel that that was who I was. I started to feel that my identity was somebody that was secure and was somebody that was confident, because I wasn't before. I can assure you, I was a far cry from secure and confident when I was on this journey. I was a wreck at times. I was so unstable. I couldn't regulate my emotions properly. And all of these skills I had to learn in order to become more secure. So I had to learn how to self-regulate my emotions. I had to learn not to look for the outside for validation. I had to learn how to carry myself differently. And when you start to do this, you will notice day by day you move more towards that version of you if you commit to it. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in this state 100% of the time. I mean, I've never, ever manifested anything from being in the state 100% of the time. Because what the aim isn't perfection, the aim is progress. And if you make that your aim, you can't go wrong, because if you're setting the bar for perfection, you're not going to get there. So just set the bar for progress. How can I do better today than I did yesterday, even a smidge? How can I show up as a little bit more secure and confident today? Because when you move into that confidence, nothing is off limits to you. You automatically believe that you can have what you want. You automatically think, yes, of course that person wants me back. Of course I'm worthy of a relationship. You have this unshakable confidence when you move into that self-concept. And that means letting go of everything that is not that. So when you first start this process, you might feel anxiety. You might feel, oh my God, that's just not true. But it's about discipline. It's about showing up time and time and time again as that. So it is okay to have your off moments. It is okay to scream and cry 1 minute and then the next minute sit back. Okay, relax. Who would I be now if I was secure and confident? How would I look at that old state as somebody that was secure and confident? How would I get up in the morning? How would I brush my teeth? How would I make myself a cup of tea? Little things like that to just bring them into your reality now. Because the aim is to continue to come back to that state. The aim isn't to be in that state all of the time, but the aim is to continue to come back to that state over and over and over again. We don't need to ignore our trauma. We don't need to, ignore our feelings. Feel them, let them be there. Try your best not to react to them. If you do, it's okay. You'll do better next time. Just come back to it over and over and over again, and you will start to actually believe it. You will start to show up like that. You'll believe it here in your inner world that I am that secure and confident version of me now. I am going to show up differently. And that was the self-concept that really did invite this relationship back in for me and got it to last, because I could not keep hold of this relationship. I was clinging on to it and it'd go away, and I couldn't settle into the relationship because I always had this fear that I was going to get left, or I always had something had to go wrong, the other shoe was going to drop. All these fears were coming up because they were just a reflection of my own insecurity, my own belief that, there's going to be someone out there better than me. There's going to be someone that's going to take this away from me. When I shifted into that secure and confident version of me, I felt so much better. I felt like this is going to happen. No matter what, it's going to happen. But also, I wasn't attributing how I was feeling to that anymore. I was in control of my own feelings. I wasn't relying on the outside to give me those things anymore. I wasn't looking for something to make me feel confident or make me feel secure. I cultivated that all on my own. And that was really I say it's all it took. It did take work. But once I got to that place, it didn't take me very long. It probably took me about 6 weeks, 2 months to get to that. And then the relationship came back in and we've been fine and settled and lived together ever since. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, but I will see you in the next video.